And here's a reminder, in 18 days from now, the biggest sporting event in the world will kick off in Japan. The countdown to Tokyo Olympics 2021 has officially begun, and so has the countdown to a long-awaited debut, karate. After nearly half a century of attempts to get it added to the Olympics, the Japanese martial art has finally made it. But on a temporary basis, karate has been included as one of the 5 sports added only to the Tokyo program, which basically means it may or may not feature in the next Olympic schedule to be held in Paris 2024. Nonetheless, it's quite a breakthrough for the karate practitioners around the world. How did this martial art form get so famous? It's a fascinating story. Karate first originated in the 14th century. It was developed in the Ryukyu kingdom under the influence of Kung Fu. This kingdom was basically a tributary state of Imperial China and was primarily based in present-day Okinawa Islands. And this was an enclave of subtropical islands located some 400 miles south of Japan. In the 17th century, Japanese samurais took control of the islands and converted the kingdom into a Japanese colony. Until then, karate was disorganized. It involved the use of weapons, basically swords, scythes, and staffs. After Japan took control, though, weapons were forbidden. The techniques were refined, combining Chinese styles with Japanese. By the 20th century, the sport reached mainland Japan as a method of combat. The Okinawans called it karate. It's a heteronym which translated into Chinese hand. Then in 1933, the Japanese changed it to a homophone, combining both the words and made it one word, karate, which translated into empty hand, no weapons. By the 1940s, they also made the sport more professional. They added uniforms, colored belts, a ranking system, an entire curriculum for training. By 1949, the Japanese Karate Association was developed by Gichin Funakoshi, who is also called the father of modern karate. His followers emigrated to different parts of the world, and this is when the sport's journey to international stardom began. An estimated 100 million people on all 5 continents practice karate. In 2019, the martial arts industry made $5 billion in total revenue. Nearly 35% of this revenue came from karate. Elvis Presley had a black belt in karate. So does Jean-Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, James Caan. Even Japan's Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga holds a black belt in karate. He was the vice captain of the karate team at a local club during his childhood. So it should come as no surprise that the sport has made it to this year's Olympics being hosted by Japan. But it's not alone. There are other new introductions this year, new disciplines, and new mixed team events. For instance, baseball is making a comeback. After being removed in 2008, the sport is returning as a medal event with teams from 6 countries. There's also skateboarding. Tokyo will be the first time this sport, skateboarding, is played at the Olympics. But it won't be the last. It's already been approved for the 2024 Paris Games. So is breakdancing for Paris. But here in Tokyo, we also have surfing. The best surfers in the world will celebrate the Olympic debut of their sport. It will take place along the spectacular Pacific coast of Japan. And then we have sport climbing. It's a form of rock climbing on artificial formations where participants have to reach the end point without falling. Well, these were just a few. There are a total of 339 medal events this year, making the Tokyo Olympics bigger than most in the past. India is sending a total of 115 athletes. They're expected to return with at least 17 medals. We wish them all the best of luck. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.